My Move the Chains audience, we are back. Notre Dame edition, 14-3 Irish. Let's go. Frisky Friday. How are we doing? Hope you're doing well today. I had to get on here. I was recording this before halftime of the Notre Dame game. I'll give you guys my reaction to that tomorrow, amongst all the other slates of games tomorrow. What a great weekend of football, baby. Let's go. Woo! So, start off with last night. Broncos, Chargers, and a white-knuckle thrill ride kind of game. It was a great game last night. Tale of two halves, and I'll get to that in a second. And then I also want to touch on the Jets. Jesus Christ, how much more circus shit do they have? God damn, they're annoying. Now what do you got? Woody Johnson and all that bullshit. I'll get into that. But I want to start off with this last night. Coaching really matters in sports, mainly football. And I just laugh because the Chargers, I'll get to the Broncos in a second because I think their future is bright despite the loss last night. So the Chargers a year ago, they were 5-12 with Brandon Staley, who was one of the worst coaches I've ever seen. Way in over his head. Coordinator, nothing wrong with that. That's good life. But he wasn't it. And Brandon Staley was the biggest idiot of them all. 5-12. They've lost 11 games last few years by like 2 points or less. They just, I had the quote, bad franchises find ways to lose games they should win. Chargers aren't a bad franchise. They're like an underachieving one. And I feel like that's what they've been with Brandon Staley. And you go back to Norv Turner, Marty Schottenheimer. This has been their history. They charger. There's a term called chargering. And last night, I went into that. It was 24-13. I went, oh shit. Denver's got him. Denver's got him on the ropes. Uh-oh. What do they do? And then what happened? They flipped the switch, and Jim Harbaugh and that team won last night. And they swept Denver, who, they're getting better. I hate saying it. It pains me to say the Broncos are a good football team. When I'm a Raider fan, it just pains me in my head. But I got to give credit where credit's due. But I want to stick on the Chargers. So, it's incredible to me like that. Herbert finally has a coach. And I've been saying this for a while, and it hasn't got a lot of feedback. But I've always said for the last couple of years, Herbert's turning into the Matt Stafford of the AFC. And what I mean by that is, organizations just kind of underachieved. Now, the Lions have been way worse in terms of the stability in the front office and all that under Matt Millen, and they had Martin Mayhew, a little bit of success with Jim Schwartz. But you know what I mean, kind of that underachieving, slip of the banana peel kind of vibe to it. And Herbert was putting up all these numbers, but it was like hollow, cotton candy kind of stats, not really great. And then he gets Harbaugh. And everybody's bitching about Herbert. Oh, he's ruined a playoff game. Oh, my God. This shit's really hard. Peyton Manning took 4 years to win one. Okay? So let's not jump the shark. Let's not be bold. Let's put context. Matt Stafford, who I love, who I just compared as the AFC version of Justin Herbert. Same kind of thing. Put up all these numbers, all the stats, but where are the wins at? And he finally's got a coach that believes in him. That throw he made last night, on the run, on the left. I mean, you can't teach that. That defense, you could have put Darrelle Revis, anybody on that, all-time corners, it doesn't matter. That pass was on point, perfect. I was talking to my dad last night. It was like rolling left, rolling right. It was just insane. And listen, I watched Herbert in college. I wasn't sold. I'm like, Against Wisconsin, I'm like, I don't know. He's more runner than thrower. And then that first game against Kansas City, where 5 minutes before the game, he gets told, hey, you're going to play. And then the Tampa Bay game, I mentioned this before, and I've had this thought when I was sold on Herbert. He's going toe for toe, throw for throw, bang, 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 with Tom Brady, 38-31 shootout down in Tampa. Todd Bowles and that blitz-centric defense. Brian Flores, send 6, drop 8 coverage kind of defense. And it's just been a remarkable job. And that's when I knew Herbert was a star. Now, the Chargers are a year away. Now, they're a playoff team, and both these teams are. But Chargers, to me, need another year of 5 or 6 guys in terms of building the depth on the O-line, which I know Harbaugh will always do with his teams, get the depth on the O-line and D-line. Get better receivers, add a little bit more juice. They need a big body. They need a guy that has good hands. Quentin Johnson, Jesus, man. I know he's got 7 touchdowns, but Jesus Christ, God help us. Got to catch more balls. I love Ladd McConkey. I mean, they're just so depleted. Like, in this defense last night, I mean, Derwin James, to me, is one of my favorite players in the league. And I've been saying this for years. And I remember the debate that I had was, oh my God, Jamal Adams this, Jamal Adams this. No, bro. Derwin James is that guy. He's him, okay? He's him. And they're putting him down in the box. They're putting him at linebacker. They're putting him anywhere that Jim Harbaugh can put his hands on, and he can pick up passes. He's just a great all-around football player. He's a great guy. There's no bullshit with him. I know the DBs get a bad rap, and I've been victim of this, of the diva-like mentality. Not this kid. Not this kid, because to me, he bodies what you want in a football player. And I'll never forget, I remember the first time I laid eyes on Derwin James was in college, the first, 2016. And I remember it because it was the Jameis Winston went in the halftime, and they kind of gave the speech like, we ain't puppies, we dog, Jameis going goofy. And I remember Derwin picked off Chad Kelly. Now, the year before that, Chad Kelly was the Ole Miss quarterback. They put up all those numbers, beat Alabama. Chad Kelly, I was like sold on him, and then he had all that off the field bullshit. But he picked off Chad Kelly, in the opener. I believe it was down at Florida State, Ole Miss, Florida State. And that's when I was like, okay, I kind of get it. In that rookie year, he sacked Mahomes in the first game. Now, Kansas City obviously won. This was Mahomes' MVP year. And then I was out in Oakland with my dad. And we get back from the game that night. I'm in California, and I'm in a hotel room. And I'm watching Derwin James in that Pittsburgh game. Now, this was the year, 6 years ago. It's hard to believe. It was when they beat the Ravens and then lost to the Patriots in the playoffs. Chargers did, with Rivers near the end. And he picked off, I think he got hit. He hit Stick AB out of bounds. He tackled James Conner open field. He picked the ball off. I'm like, this guy's it. And last night I'm watching Derwin James. That's why. And there were some rumors like, let's cut him and all this. You're not cutting him. Jim Harbaugh's going to use this as a chess piece, man. And Jesse Minter and that defense, they found a spot for him, and it has clearly worked. But yeah, the Chargers, like I said, I think they're there. And I think, I'm saying this, and my brother and I got in this last night. Like, oh, Harbaugh never won. Yeah, he's going to win. In 3 years, you watch. Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl. They're going to be. They're going to host one. And they're going to get that first Lombardi. They're going to get off that list of 12 teams that have never won one because the Chargers deserve to have one. And it pains me because I'm a Raider fan. But I'm looking around, and last night, it hit my head. Get it right, coach. Get the quarterback. You're set. That's what you have to do in this league. Get that coach, get the quarterback right, and everything else follows. Now, Raiders that's a whole other story. But I felt like, as a Raider fan last night, that kind of just snapped in my head going, we got to do that. Get the right coach, right quarterback. So Chargers, to recap, they have the pieces. Get more depth on the O-line. Build this team up. This is the worst Herbert team that they're going to have because they don't have the perimeter speed. They're going to get one and done in the playoffs. They could be a problem for people, but I just think they're too much offensive deficiencies for them going forward because I just felt like it was a struggle last night. I know they kind of picked it up a little bit in the second half. And that's kind of my vibe and my feel point. On the flip side of Denver last night. So, before the draft, Bo Nix was okay to me. I wasn't, like, great. But I'll say this marriage works with him and Sean Payton. Because Sean Payton's hard to please. And I saw it last night. He's not a very approachable guy. He's kind of a dick. Which, again, I appreciate in this day and age where everybody's soft and is a candy-ass pussy. Little bitch. Like these dudes with porn stashes. Grow a beard. Slather some beard oil on that motherfucker. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Be a man. Let's go. So, Bo Nix fits. Last night on the scripted plays, he was great. And that's how the first half always is for these offensive coaches. First, first 15 plays are scripted. Then second half's off script, coaching, halftime adjustments. So Bo Nix kind of struggled in the second half. But this is okay. He's a rookie. His number is 64% completion percentage, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks. He's playing good football. My brother last night, he's watching the game. He's like, I take that stat line. I'm like, hell yeah, I would too. Raiders need that kind of stat line, And Denver's in the same spot. And I loved the beginning of the game last night. They were going jumbo form, jumbo sets. They were going 11 personnel. They were just trying to run the football. And Denver's got some good backs, and their O-line's okay. And, Denver, I gave them the flowers. Like, their defense playing hard. Last night was just uncharacteristic. Felt very like that Miami game when they gave up 70 last year. Now, not as bad, but just kind of mistakes and just mental errors, like lapses in coverage and just big holes on in the back end and just like mismatches in the zones. And so it was just kind of a weird performance for Denver last night. But I do think moving forward, and my brother, I have to remind him this, is that you got your quarterback now and you got your coach. Now, where is Bo ever going to be just Herbert? No. But I think in that system with the players that they have in Denver, because I think they're going to add more pieces. They're a playoff team. Both these teams are. It's kind of a teaser last night, kind of like playoff game vibes. And, Denver, like, if it ended today, now again, we got a long way to go, but, we're getting down the home stretch. They play Pittsburgh. And I think that'd be a bad matchup for them. Their O-line would just get mammoth. Now, TJ Watt, I'm hearing, if he's not playing, I might give Denver a sliver of hope. And I hate saying that as a Raider fan. But it's nice to see Denver in the playoffs again. They've always been like the Steelers, like with the mountain range. Whenever they've hit the quarterback big, they've won. Elway, Manning, and then obviously Pittsburgh had Big Ben and Terry Bradshaw. So it is good for the Denver Broncos to be back in the spotlight. I hate saying it, but I give them their flowers. So Denver, you got a lot to look forward to. Get another year under your system with this coaching staff and with these players. And I think Sean Payton's going to keep doing it. Listen, the other thing that we don't talk about is they're in dead cap hell still from the Russell Wilson bullshit. So they got the next year, not this one, but the next year after that, they're out of that cap hell. So it's going to be a little bit straining right now in terms of how to team develop with George Payton or Patton. I can't remember his name, Patton. But I feel like they're in the right direction. They got some momentum going. It's little steps in this league, in the NFL, how to build it. Houston, shitty coach, quarterback, okay, steps. Okay, they build it. So I'm all in on Denver. Like, if I'm a betting man, I think they got the right offensive coach. I think they got Bo Nix is excellent. I think in that system with Sean Payton, saw a lot with Drew Brees. I'm not saying he is Drew Brees, but in terms of accuracy, touch, but arms better than I thought. I mean, last night, second half, I didn't know where the hell those balls were going. I'm like, God help us, where'd he go? I mean, but the good news is Denver's making the playoffs. Build for the draft, get more depth and develop. That's my takeaways from the Chargers side and the Broncos side. Kind of in the same boat in terms of development and all that stuff. Last thing I wanted to touch on. God, the Jets are just funny. Man, woo! I mean, I had a story come out today. Woody Johnson's kids were not signing a player because of Mad ratings. What are we doing? Hey, Aaron Rodgers, put the shrooms down the ayahuasca, okay? You were trying to find yourself, Mr. Darkness Retreat, bro. Okay? Hey, you found yourself in New York. You kind of had it pretty good in Green Bay. And I know Green Bay, I make fun of them. They don't put the chips in the middle of the table sometimes. I get it. But you went from 14 to 21 years playoffs to that shit. And then you're bitching that it's so bad. Bro, we've been knowing the Jets organization's a shit show. It's the Raiders of the East Coast. I've been saying that for a while. Every time I see Devontae, I call him Devontae Dumbass Adams. I give him the bird. I don't want to see you. Stop bitching. You cryptic tweeted. Stop. We pandered to him, and it's annoying. Besides the point. But my point is with Aaron, and I'm reading about this Woody Johnson thing like his kids. What a joke. I mean, seriously. Hey, Woody Johnson, go overseas and be an ambassador in London. Goodbye, good riddance. Get out of here. Get out. Move. Get out of the way. Rapido, chop, chop, motherfucker. Get out. Because it's just funny to me. The Jets, it's very Jetsian. It's a juggling Jets act. And it's a circus show. And listen, man, like, the Jets have good players. This isn't a player problem with the Jets. They've had good players my whole life. The problem has been, and listen, I don't think that Jet job's appealing. You got so much chaos and weirdness. You got Aaron Rodgers coming off. He's old, brittle, expensive, and kind of weird. You got players like Devontae's getting older. So a lot of good pieces on the Jets, but it comes back to this with ownership. It's been so bad my whole life. You take off the Rex Ryan years in those early 2000s Herm Edwards teams when they played, coincidentally, the Raiders in Oakland in the playoffs and all that. There hasn't been much to cheer about. So, and then the rumors I'm hearing about Rex Ryan might come back, they should do it. He fits it, man. He's got the chip on the shoulder. They were a tough football team when they were playing. And I don't think it's a crazy idea that Rex Ryan goes back to the Jets. Now, it's been a minute since Rex has been in the league, but I think, he's seen how the league is. And I love Rex in terms of he just lets it rip and says what he wants. I love that. And I think a lot of times you got to be authentic in yourself. And Rex has always been different, Never forget when he had the Mark Sanchez tattooed. God help us. But it's going to be interesting and fascinating to see. So that's all I want to talk on here tonight. Frisky Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to finish watching this Notre Dame game. Let's go, Notre Dame Irish. Let's go. I'll give you guys my reactions to that tomorrow. Stay tuned. I got a lot of content coming out. I got the game. I got to react to Notre Dame tomorrow night. I got to react Sunday to the NFL games. So stay tuned throughout the weekend. A lot of content. Have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Happy weekend.